Can you feel the energy? Come with me. Let's push it to the limit.
Good morning, Nashville, USA. Good afternoon, London, England. Good evening, Brisbane, Australia. G'day, world.
And there's one thing, though, that the Liberals push and push and push, and they scream out for financial inequality. They scream out about financial inequality. They go on about economic inequality. Well, I'll tell you this. I think that there's something far worse, far more serious than that, and it's pervaded this fine nation. It is the inequality of knowledge, the inequality of education, the inequality of common sense. Yes, the inequality of knowledge. Americans have a major issue with the inequality of knowledge. How could people be so blind dumb? It's just amazing. You're puzzled as to why we are where we are right now. It's amazing. Because when Hussein Obama refused to disclose who donated money to the election campaign, people said it didn't matter. When Obama received endorsements from Farrakhan, Gaddafi and Chavez, people said it didn't matter. When it was pointed out that he had no other experience other than being a community organizer, people said it didn't matter. And when his friends were folks like Ayers and Dawn, people said it didn't matter. And when his voting record in the Illinois Senate and the U.S. Senate came under question, people said it didn't matter. When he refused to wear a flag lapel badge, people said it didn't matter. And when people started treating him like the bloody Messiah and there were children in schools singing his praises, people said it didn't matter. When he stood with his hands over his groin area during the playing of the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance, people said it didn't matter. And when his personal background was scrubbed and hidden and nothing was known of him, people said it didn't matter. And when his place of birth was in question, people said it didn't matter. When he got a sweetheart house deal through that Chicago felon, Tony Rezko, people said it didn't matter. And when it became known that Marxist George Soros had tossed a ton of money at his election, people said it didn't matter. And when he started appointing radical czars and communists and Muslim revolutionaries, people said it didn't matter. When he told the nation that he would fundamentally transform this nation, people said it didn't matter. And when he was questioned about Acorn, he claimed he had not heard of them. He didn't know too much about them. And after he trained Acorn workers in Chicago and he served as their attorney, people said it didn't matter. And when he appointed cabinet people, cabinet members and advisors who were tax cheats and socialists, people said it didn't matter. And when as the President of the United States of America, he bowed to the King of Saudi Arabia, people said it didn't matter. When he traveled the world criticizing America and apologizing for past U.S. actions and never once speaking about our greatness, people said it didn't matter. And when he took a huge spending bill under the guise of a stimulus and he used it to pay off organizations, unions and individuals that got him elected, people said it didn't matter. But right up here till today, what has he done in 2014 alone, for God's sake? Good grief. But even after that, right to the end of 2012, we still had selfish, self-centered, very selfish folk who put their own precious second-tier desires ahead of the security, who call themselves conservatives, call themselves Republicans, who played childish, selfish games. And since that 2012 election, all we have seen is an ever-increasing avalanche of crisis upon crisis, hitting us perpetually, day after day. We have barely got time to think about what this crisis is and how to handle it when another one lands. We've barely got time to take in what the crisis is. And all of this is because this great DC voter fraud machine and millions of people on the right stayed at home, the sulky, whiny, friggin' so-called Republicans or conservatives who got their panties in a knot and spat the dummy. And those same folk now wander about wringing their fat little hands and tut-tutting about how bad things are. Did you suddenly expect this lying, cheating, treasonous, traitorous bastard to suddenly become pro-American? You got what you deserved, but you sure as hell did not get what this nation needed. You sure as hell did not get what this nation needed.
I chose to become an American. I'm the newest voice by choice.
You're the voice trying to understand.